Hi, my name's Grant Thomas, thank you for joining me, and this is the 2012 Nissan LEAF, and I wanted to give you a quick tour around, quick test drive, and you can get an idea as to what it's like to drive the car. So this is the 2012, like I said, Japanese built one. There is a model being built in Sunderland next year, along with the battery pack that will have some different options. We think there'll be two models as well. So keep an eye out for that. We're hoping there's going to be a lower price, as well as some increased range. I've just turned the car on. The noise you've just heard is the startup sound. When Nissan did some work trying to find out what people wanted from an electric car when it started, they didn't like the fact that there was no noise. So Nissan built that Windows kind of sound just so that people had a feel for that the car was actually doing something. So I've started the car, put it into eco mode, and off we go. And hopefully it comes across on this short video that the actual sound is virtually nothing. All you can hear is road noise. Nissan put a lot of effort into the dynamics. There's a speed camera, I'll come on to that in a second. They put a lot of work into the dynamics of the car to make sure that the wind noise deflected around the cabin well, so you weren't distracted by any of the wind noise, because it is so quiet, because there is no noise from the actual engine itself. I'm just watching this because I'm going through a 30-mile-an-hour speed camera. Had I been a bit more organised, I'd have set the cruise control. So the voice you heard is obviously the built-in sat-nav. This model comes with sat-nav, which has a number of functions. You can actually access the sat-nav and remotely program it from your home computer. So if you're going on a journey, you can look it up via the Nissan U Plus website and program that into the car, ready for when you jump into it. I'm running this video off a tripod mounted in the passenger footwell, so if you topple around a bit, it's for a dramatic effect. So the sat-nav also has some other features whereby if you're trying to find a nearby charging station, it overlays where that is. Because of the range of electric vehicles, it's also important to know how far you can travel, so it overlays that range. So if it has 100 miles left, it'll overlay that range directly onto the map on the sat-nav as well. So two modes, there's an eco mode and a drive mode. Now in eco mode, this car uses its braking to actually recharge the battery. It's a technology called regen braking. So I'm in eco mode right now. I've actually just parked at a set of gates, so I'm going to press the P button, which puts it into parking mode. And this car now will sit here. It's on, but there's no engine noise, and I've just got the aircon ticking in the background here. So this car has a range of 107 miles. Now that normally gets people panicking when you say a range, because people think, right, 107 miles, what if I have to go and visit the relations in the east of England, or the once-a-year trip to the Lake District? And it really becomes an issue then, because people then write off the electric vehicles. But the average mileage travelled by your UK motorist is less than 40 miles a day. It's around 38 miles. So for your normal commuting, for the runs to school, for shopping and everything else, this more than adequately fits that need. And you go home and you plug this in at night and you have 107 miles the next day. So for 95% of those journeys, this car actually works. And if you want to go further than that, you need to use some planning or the technology built into the car to work out where those charging stations are. There's basically three levels of charging. There's the trickle charging at home, and this thing plugs into a 3-pin socket on the front of the house. And that allows you to charge up overnight, and it recharges the whole battery. There's also a slightly faster charging on this model, which charges at 16 amp versus 10 amp. That puts about 16 miles of range every hour into the car. Basically means you can charge up the car in around 6 hours. And then there's rapid charge. Rapid charge isn't a home technology, it's something you'll find out and about. Every road chef is having a rapid charger installed. Nissan garages have rapid chargers. They charge the battery from flat up to 80% in 30 minutes. So if you think about that in practical terms, if you're stopping at a road chef for a bite to eat, you plug this into a rapid charge, you come out, you've got another 80% of that battery, so another 80 or 100 miles. That's the equivalent of putting £10 worth of fuel in your car. And while we're talking about fuel and MPGs, I replaced my previous company car, which was a Seat Altea. Now that did about 45 to 50 mpg, and I worked it out that at current fuel prices, today's the 22nd of August 2012, diesel costs about £1.40 a litre, £1.40 a litre. On those kinds of calculations, it costs 20 pence per mile to drive an efficient diesel in the UK today. If you charge this overnight, this costs about £1.80 in electric to charge it up from flat. And on that, this calculates at about 2p per mile. So 2p a mile versus 20p a mile. If I was to tell you you could walk into Tesco's and get 90% wiped off of your fuel cost, you'd probably break my arm off, because we go mad to get 10p off a litre of fuel, whereas this car uses 90% less energy to propel it. And before I baffle you with figures completely, one last set. Your internal combustion engine on your traditional car is only 20% efficient. So only 20% of that fuel that you put in gets directly translated into propulsion. The rest of it is wasted through heat, through exhaust, through transmission, through gearboxes. Your electric vehicle, like this one, is around 80% efficient. So 80% of that electricity that goes into the battery pack gets translated into propulsion. Then there is the pure comfort and speed of this thing. This is an incredibly comfortable car to drive. It's very smooth, there's no gearbox at all, it's just a motor, battery inverter motor, that's it. So the servicing costs are lower. This thing costs around 150, 180 pounds a year to service. There's no oil change, there's no clutch to wear out, and the battery itself is guaranteed to still have 80% of its usable power after 10 years, guaranteed from Nissan. So even after that amount of time, it's still usable. The retail price of this car right now, after the £5,000 government grant, is £26,000. Now, I don't think this car is the solution. I think it's a game changer. This is a kind of a flag bearer, if you like, before the cars that will be with us in 2 to 5 years' time. So I think within 5 years, we will have cars with a 200-mile range. Now, with a 200-mile range, I think you'd get the majority of people across from using their internal combustion engines into electric vehicles. However, there is a significant momentum underway now to make sure that we get electric vehicles with better adoption. There is a lot of major manufacturers bringing out electric vehicles in the next couple of years. We will see the Mark 7 Golf come in electric form. There is a BMW coming out called the i3 that will have an electric form. So, and to support that, there is a very big rollout of charging stations. So in this local area, I know in Portsmouth, in Gunwharf Quays, in Craswell Street, there are electric vehicle charging points. While you're shopping, you can charge the car up. In Southampton, in West Quay, there's charging points. And there are numerous ones being installed via the charity Zero Carbon World. So right now, there is a rapid rollout. Also, like I said, every road chef's going to have a rapid charger. Every little chef has got chargers. So there's becoming more and more usability and places to charge it up. Right, whilst we're talking about all of this sustainability and green, and we've mentioned a bit about the range, people sometimes think that there must be some kind of compromise in performance. This car, and apologies again for that tripod moving around, this car has two modes. It has a drive mode and an eco mode. Right now I'm in eco mode, which means that it's recharging all the time. I take my foot off the accelerator, but it also has a drive mode. And what that does is it provides much more power. So what I'm going to do is just try and do a quick demonstration for you. I'm going to pull over on a piece of road now. I'm going to pop it into drive mode. It is a 60-mile-an-hour limit on this road. I just wanted to show you how quickly this thing goes and how quiet it is. So I'm going to turn off the aircon. Just give it a minute. Just going to make sure the traffic goes past, and I will try now and make sure that the thing doesn't move around too much on the tripod. So bear with me, folks. Hopefully that's still working. Okay, 2 cars have gone past, nothing else coming behind me. I'm in drive mode, and what I'm going to do is just call out the digits on the speedometer. So 0. Here we go. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour in 60 miles an hour in an electric car. I apologise that the video went for a button there, but it really proves the point that your major limitation with an internal combustion engine is that it has to wait until all of that power gets to the wheels. So the magic stuff is torque. That's the thing that gives you the real power, and that's not achieved until very high up the range of revs. So the revs are way up. You might have heard the phrase redlining it, because that's when you typically get all of the power in a combustion engine. You get nearly 100% of the torque at 0 miles an hour. Now, you can't get 100% at 0 because the wheels would just spin, the car wouldn't go. So there is an algorithm that delivers that to the road. But the point is, this thing flies off the market because there's no gearbox, there's no clutch, there's no automatic. It's just power consistently. So if you are considering a new car, in the next 5 years, there is going to be more and more of these out there, and I would strongly recommend you come out for a test drive of one of these kind of cars. And by the way, that's an open offer. I'm based in Emsworth on the Hampshire-West Sussex border, and I will happily travel round to, let's say, what, 20 miles from around here, so Chichester, Southampton, Worthing, wherever, and I will happily take people out to try this car. It's not until you actually drive one that you realise how usable this is. And Nissan have made a huge amount of efforts to try and cushion that change. You won't see it in the camera shot right now, but there is a transmission tunnel down here where you would normally have your gearbox. There's no gearbox, but they put it in there just so it doesn't frighten people too much on the change. And if you pop the bonnet, lift the hood up, there's even a fake rocker cover on top of the engine. There's no rockers on an electric vehicle, but they wanted it to look like a car engine that people would be familiar with. So again, trying to cushion that change. It's quite fascinating. Anyway, enough waffle. Hopefully I've shown you enough about this this technology to get you interested. Like I said, the offer's there. Get in touch with me via the website. It's grantthomas.com, facebook.com/grant2. On Twitter, I'm Grant A. Thomas, and on Google Plus, just search Grant Thomas, you'll find the public profile. Happy to hear from you, happy to take you out for a test spin. Hopefully this has given you a bit of a useful introduction. Thanks for watching.